Hey, this is Dr. Tom Prichard, and if you want to hear some really cool stuff, I'm here with Wolfie D. Jimmy, don't miss it.
Hey, this is Jimmy Street, host of the Live and in Color with Wolfie D podcast. Hear the life and times of professional wrestler Wolfie D. From his time in the territories with PG-13 to his time in WWE, ECW, WCW, TNA, and more. Nothing is off limits and nothing will be held back. Thanks again for tuning in. Here he is, Wolfie D.
Welcome once again to Live and in Color with Wolfie D and my man Jimmy across the street. And we got a part two. Don't do a lot of these. We got a part two with Dr. John Richards.
Yes.
Always talk to Tom, man.
Oh, dude, totally. I'm excited, man. He's, that guy's touched so many people in his career, so many. Yeah. I mean, from literally, I think he might be the Kevin Bacon. I mean, he's one of those like wrestlers that's like you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, theoretically, there's a lot of y'all that could be the Kevin Bacon of wrestling, to where you're 6 degrees, you basically 6 degrees away from everybody, but really, he just feels like he's touched everyone. It seems like
man.
So.
Yeah. And I'm lucky enough to have been in a program with him and Jimmy Del Rey, and that was kind of hands on,
Yeah.
Hands-on training with Dr. John.
Man, what would you say? Like, let's just say before you get him on here, what would you is it smooth, crisp? Is that what you would consider Tom, like, as a wrestler?
Yeah, for sure, man. And just psychology, the whole nine, man. And the thing is, man, just some guys are able to pass that on and be able to teach it. Some guys can't. Some really good wrestlers, I think, you talked about this, like, I don't believe Jerry Lawler's ever trained anybody, but we know how good he is, and or they don't want to mess with it. And Tom's one that obviously enjoys doing it and has a knack for being able to pass the knowledge on in a way that's understandable, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny how all, like, he basically just was like, look, I have the temperament, I guess. And I agree, man. I don't think I could do it. Yeah. I really don't. Because I'm not, I'm kind of like, oh, you don't get it? What are you not getting about this?
I'm kind of the same way, even though I did teach a few people. It does get frustrating when you have the ones that come in that you're really not too high on teaching, and you kind of know it's just not going anywhere. And back in the day, we'd a little bit try to run them off and stuff. And, sometimes I feel bad about that. But, man, that's just the way it was. And it was the way it was taught to me. And, business has changed. And, so has the world. But, yeah, man, that's just, you got to have a bit of patience. But, you like he'll probably agree that you can kind of tell. I'm not saying you can tell a superstar, but you can tell if somebody's gonna get it or not, like a little bit. Right at the beginning almost.
Right. Yeah. And it's tough, man, because you kind of cross. You have that line of like, look, dude, life's short. Live your life. Be happy. If you want to be a wrestler, go try to wrestle. But I think it's expectations. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, if you're going to go work a Saturday night show, a Friday night show in your hometown, and you don't really leave your hometown, as long as your expectations are to entertain your local friends and family, well, then, hey, man, do it, Yeah. But maybe keep those expectations a little realistic. I'm a dreamer, I'd say you're a dreamer too, and sometimes those dreams get you there and sometimes you don't, but just stay realistic. That's what I would say to these people. Yeah. But anyway.
For sure, man. For sure. Well, let's don't waste much time other than let's well, you know what? Maybe we'll save that with Tom. Talk about some WrestleMania coming up, possibly. But all right. We'll be right back with Dr. Tom Prichard
after these messages.
Don't you love it when things are both easier and more affordable? Like when the rain washes your car for you. Or like when you save up to 10% by bundling your renters and auto insurance with USAA. Bundle with USAA and start saving. Get a quote today.
USAA. So good, so good, so good.
New markdowns up to 70% off are at Nordstrom Rack stores now. Fresh kicks, spring tops, new dresses. There's always a score.
I mean, the denim section is unreal.
Why do I rack? All the dresses.
I always find something amazing.
Head to your Nordstrom Rack store to find can't-miss deals on all the spring things. Great brands, great prices. That's why you rack.
Hi, this is Debbie, your Blinds.com design consultant.
Oh, wow. A real person.
Yep, I am here to help you with everything, from selecting the perfect window treatments
Well, I've got a complicated project.
Oh, not a problem. I can even schedule a professional measure and install. We can also send you samples, fast and free.
I just might have to do more.
Oh, okay.
So the first room we're looking at is for guests.
Shop Blinds.com now and save up to 40% site-wide. Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Hey folks, to get your official Live It in Color with Wolfie D merchandise, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Live Wolfie D. Check it out.
If you're listening to Live and in Color with Wolfie D on Apple Podcast and like what you're hearing, go ahead and leave a 5-star rating. And while you're at it, write a review. Tell us what you liked. Tell us what you'd like to hear in the future. It's very important to us and always appreciated. Thanks again.
All right, guys, we're back. And today we got a repeat customer. The doctor, Dr. Tom, is back with us. Dr. John Richards, what is going on, my friend?
Wolfie, everything's going on. What's going on with you? That's the question.
Oh, man, just sitting here catching up on a little bit of Monday Night Rizal. What, have you seen the El Grande Americano?
I have not, but I know it's Chad Gable under the mask, right?
Tom, kayfabe, man. Jeez.
Oh, wait a minute. Are we on the air? Oh, prank call. That wasn't me. Sorry.
No, man. I think that shit is so hilarious, though, especially the little vignette they did where it was like, he, looked all old-timey and like he was this, legendary luchador. That shit's funny to me. I think they should push that to the fucking moon.
Yeah, they probably will.
Yeah. So how is JPWA going?
Man, it's wrestling school. So if you've ever done wrestling school, you know what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had 6 people this time around, and hopefully we'll have maybe 8 people next time. But I just never know. And this class has been pretty good. We're about to graduate on April 26th, and everybody's doing good.
And the course, tell me about your course, how you do it. So y'all do it is like a course, I guess. So you're doing it for many months. It's not like a indefinite wrestling training, right?
No. It's a 12-week course, and once you graduate, we can do advanced class. But I just had surgery on my shoulder. I had it in December, but that's 4 months away, man. If you've ever had any surgery, which I know you have, the rehab process is, and the physical therapy you got to go through is like brutal.
Yes, sir. And as a matter of fact, I just had shoulder surgery in January, so I feel you. Okay,
so you going to PT right now then, right?
Yep, I got 2 more sessions. 2 more sessions, I'll be good.
Yeah. Well, it's brutal, man. So I've been doing that, and so we really haven't had any advanced class, but we do 12 weeks at JPWA, and it's basically basics and fundamentals. And,
so
the rest
let me ask you this real quick. If, say, after 12 weeks, you feel like, man, this ain't for you, do you tell them that? Do they fail or what?
No, I mean, everybody has a dream and they want to come and live their dream. So at 12 weeks, they have a match. Yeah. And we put them in a match, and then they decide if it's not for them or not. Gotcha. But I mean, sometimes if they ask me, what do I think? I'm going to tell them what I think. Some people don't want to hear the truth, but this isn't really for everybody,
Yeah, right. Yeah,
it's a lot more difficult. Yeah, a lot more difficult than people think, and they get in and they think just because they watched it their whole life on TV, it's easy and anybody can do it. Well, that's not the case. So
yeah. For sure.
That's just the way we do it.
Now, I remember, people talk about like all the people that you've trained and all that. You're kind of known for being this legendary trainer these days. And you know, people have asked me, like certain people that I've worked with, did you think like Randy Orton when you worked with him back at OVW, did you think he was going to be great? And my answer usually is no. I mean, because I don't feel that you could really. I mean, you know if somebody gets it or not, but like I remember one of The Rock's very first matches in Memphis. He was terrible. He was fucking terrible. And who would have known that he'd turn out to what he is? You know, he caught along. But do you think you're good at eyeing like, okay, this person's going to be really good, or because I don't think I am, honestly.
Well, I tell you, no, it is hard to put your eye on somebody and say they're going to be a big star. But I tell you what I do. When I lock up with them, I can pretty much tell if they can have the aptitude to train or not, or learn.
Right.
Like when I first locked up with Batista had a little bit of training, but he was light as a feather. And I locked up with Randy, he was light as a feather too. And Randy just had this innate ability. He was a natural.
Right.
So, you know, some guys, you kind of get a feel for them and know that at least they have an idea that they don't have to be really stiff and so jarring in the very beginning. And that takes a lot of hard work to try to learn how to relax and things like that. But no, you can't. I can't pick them out all the time. You know, some people you think are going to be winners, and some people aren't.
Yeah. Yeah. And so do y'all run shows, like a monthly show, or is it just training?
Well, JPWA doesn't run shows, but we run our school out of a place called Southern Pride Championship Wrestling.
Gotcha.
It's in La Follette, Tennessee, and they run shows every 2 weeks, and they use a lot of our guys on the show.
Gotcha.
So it gives them experience.
Yeah. And so tell me about, I noticed, and maybe it's changed since I first saw it because I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to it, that thing that's called WWE ID. So there's some independents, some schools or something that are endorsed by WWE. And I didn't see you and Glenn on there. So I was kind of curious as to why not.
Well, I think what they're looking for right now is schools that actually do run shows. When we don't actually run shows, it's a different company than JPWA. And, you know, who knows? They may contact us this year, they may not. But no, we're not on the list yet. So I don't know what's going on.
Do you have any idea what that really means? Like, what does it mean for the wrestler?
Honest to goodness, I don't. I don't know if they pay him.
Yeah,
if they pay him or give them a contract and pay them, and they can go work wherever they want to do, but they got first dibs on them, you know, hands off AEW and TNA and all those other places. So, but I really don't know what the specifics are.
Interesante. I learned that from El Grande Americano. He's teaching me a little Spanish.
Interesante.
Interesante.
Oh, that's Japanese. That's Japanese.
Yeah. So I thought it was hilarious also. And since you've already been on her once, we can't really go back over your career again. We're going to stay away from that. But I thought it was hilarious that Glenn called out, what's his name, Tim Waltz, few weeks ago.
Tim Waltz.
Yes, that was hilarious. I loved it.
Well, I think Tim Waltz called him out first, and he said he could whoop anybody.
He said he could whoop all the Republicans or something.
Yeah.
That's just so funny.
He forgot about Glenn.
Yeah, he forgot
about it was
Glenn.
good.
Oh, my God.
Have you talked to him personally about that?
No, we haven't talked about that. I saw him last week, but that was something that just didn't come up.
Yeah. Oh man, I'd love to hear his.
I mean, I don't think Glenn would shy away. I think Glenn would even like to do it as a charity event.
Yes. But see, then he couldn't like really stretch him. He'd have to be taking a little bit easy on the guy.
Yeah, well, it's all a work.
Right. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
In that situation, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh, Jimmy, join in the conversation.
Okay, so Dr. Tom Prichard, I got my appointment with your receptionist, and I greatly appreciate you seeing me. And you're the only person I believe who can actually answer this question. Okay, so we have had Crippler Jeff Daniels on the podcast before, and he was telling us a story about how he was working or doing some towns for Continental, and he got a little cross with Wendell Cooley. Okay. Jeff comes into the Shoney's, and I guess Wendell had booked Jeff in a town, and then they switched the towns after the town didn't run. I'm not 100% on that part of the story. But anyway, Jeff walks into a Shoney's and dumps a plate of food into Wendell Cooley's lap.
I'll just put it this way. I'm not a Wendell Cooley fan. He took me over in Mississippi, and we had a few words, and told Frankie Lancaster to sit the fuck down and shut up, or he would be next. And Tom Prichard got my payoff, and I never went back to Continental.
I'm sorry, that was a short story.
We'll leave it at that. Here's the deal with that. All right. So Mike Davis, the promoter at IWF got pissed off at me because I wanted him to pay me.
Oh, imagine that.
So he throws a big fit and fires me. I'm like, well, what the fuck? Ken Massey said, that's bullshit. I said, it is what it is, I guess. So he was already pissed at me. He had me working under a mask. So he fired me, and I was like, really? All right. So I walked right out the fucking curtain, took the mask off, walked right through the fucking crowd. Boy, he was pissed. And Mike Davis said, be in Florence, Alabama tomorrow night. I was like, Florence, Alabama? That's a long fucking ways. Well, you got a job. Be there. I said, all right. So I went up, and it was Continental, but it was after David Woods. It was when Cheryl Dunn had took over and was trying to save it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
See, that was my problem. I always got in on the tail end of everything.
Yeah.
Timing.
So, it was just that time of the business.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I get up there the first night and walk in the dressing room, and I'm sitting there, don't know anybody. Nobody's friendly, and in walked Tracy Smothers. Tracy had just come back from Mexico, and that's the night I met Tracy Smothers and was friends with him till the day he died.
Yeah.
Loved that man.
Absolutely.
But we did a 6-man tag that night. It was Wendell, Frankie, and Tracy against me, the spoiler, and somebody else. And had a hell of a match. And they're like, man, that was great. Said, be in Ponce de Leon, Florida tomorrow. I was like, Ponce de Leon, Florida? I'm almost in Tennessee. So I drove from there to Montgomery and got a room, spent the night, drove the rest of the way to Florida. And, he gave me, he said, look, we ain't got no money. He said, we'll get paid off tomorrow night. He said, here's $25. I'm like, $25. I said, I ain't even enough gas to get to Florida. I'm already dipping in my pocket.
Yeah.
So I get to Florida, right? And I'm working Adrian Street.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, wow, this is so cool, So that was the end of the run, right? So Wendell says, all right, Thursday, we're in Philadelphia, Mississippi. I was like, okay, I'll be there. And I got paid that night. He gave me $75. I was like, okay, there wasn't very many people there. So I thought, all right, this is probably not too bad.
Yeah.
So I go home to Louisiana, and Dominique's going to ride back with me. She said, well, I'll go ride with you to this one. I said, all right. Get to Philadelphia, and I'm not seeing posters anywhere. I can't find the building. I'm trying to call Wendell. No answer. And back then there wasn't cell phones. I was calling his house.
Right.
So finally, his old lady answers, right? And she says, oh, did he not tell you? I said, tell me what? Oh, they canceled Philadelphia. They're in Greenwood, Mississippi tonight. I'm like, really? She said, yeah, he forgot to tell Adrian and Linda, too. They just said, fuck it, they weren't going. I'm like, well, man, I'm already up here. I got to have fucking money. I said, all right, well, I'm headed to Greenwood. So
how far is that
to him,
from
tell
there?
him I'm on my way. It was like 3 hours. So I get to Greenwood as the semi-main event's going on.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
And I walked in the dressing room, and Wendell said, hey, what are you doing here? I said, I was fucking booked. Yeah. I said, dude, you didn't tell me we were here. You told me Philadelphia, Mississippi. Yeah, we were going to run Philadelphia, but that changed, and we got this show, so we're here. I was like, well, yeah, but you drove me all the way to Philadelphia, Mississippi for a show that wasn't there without calling me. Yeah. Oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to overlook you. I said, well, look, I'm here. Whether I work or not, I fucking made 2 towns for you today. Yeah. I need to pay up. Oh yeah, brother. I'm gonna take care of you. I'm so sorry. Yeah. All right. So, I'm watching Tom Prichard in the main event because him and Tracy are tearing the fucking house down, right? Mm-hmm. And match is over, and I start looking around, and Wendell's fucking gone. So I'm like, son of a bitch. Boy, I was fucking raising hell. And Tom, I knew Tom from Houston. I'd met him a time or two over there, because he was one of Paul Bosch's boys, and Paul's the one that actually sent me to San Antonio and got me into business.
Gotcha.
So Tom says, look, man, I know this is fucked up. He said, but I'm fixing to take the book. He said, be patient. It's going to get better. I said, I don't know, dude. I said, I'm pretty fucking disgusted. He said, well, yeah, I know. He said, I can understand. I said, well, I drove all the way to that other show, which was canceled. He didn't tell me about this one, so I drove here because I needed a payoff, man. I made 2 towns for him, even though I didn't work. That's a hell of a lot of driving. He said, yeah. He said, you deserve a payoff. I said, well, he told me he was going to pay me, but he's gone. Tom says, well, he said, I can tell you where he's at. Really? He said, yeah, he's at Shoney's. They all go over there and make their payoffs, and everybody eats, and then they head back. Yeah. I was like, all right. I said, well, I'm heading over there. So I walked in, walked over to the table, and I said, dude, you fucking took off without paying me. Oh, man, that's just the way it is sometimes. I just flipped his plate in his lap. I said, yeah, that's the way it is, motherfucker. And Frankie started to get up. I said, don't get up, motherfucker. I swear to God, at this point, I will fucking kill you. About that time, Tom walked in. He's like, look, brother, so you need to fucking pay him. Get him his fucking payoff. Cheryl's sitting right over there. Get him some fucking money. Yeah, I'll get it. So he got me $150, and so you paid out. He said, I don't need you no more. I said, what's the good fucking thing is I ain't coming back. I fucking told Mike Davis, thanks. Boy, that was a big favor you did me there, Mike. He said, well, cocksucker.
Is there any chance you remember any of that, Tom?
Well, as Wolfie can testify, the 80s were very, very kind to a lot of us and not so kind to some of us.
Yeah.
So I don't, and that would have been the 80s. So I don't actually remember ever going out to eat with Wendell Cooley anywhere.
Okay, at Shoney's after a show, maybe in Mississippi or somewhere.
No, because we never really rode together.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. That's not to say that didn't happen.
Sure.
Because, like I said, we've all been down a few roads.
Yeah, of course. And Yeah.
Now, if that would have happened, if Jeff would have knocked food in Wendell's lap, what would have been the probable outcome there?
Yeah, good question.
Well, I know Wendell would have come up swinging, or I think he would have come up swinging.
Yeah.
So I don't know how, if anything would have connected, or I don't know what would have happened after that. But I think there would have at least been some other physicality.
Yeah, I think Wendell said he would have waxed his ass, I think was the terms.
Well, first and foremost, he is absolutely 100% full of shit because I'd have waxed his ass if he'd have done that. Number 2, I never booked anything.
Yeah.
So it's a bald-faced ass damn lie, and you can tell him I said so. I'd have whacked his ass if he would have confronted me and thrown a plate of food at me.
Yeah.
I'm just not that guy. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it regardless. So if I would have worked him on a show and I guaranteed him a certain amount, he would have gotten that amount, whether he was worth a shit or not. Would have been a man of my word.
Right.
And, but as far as that other shit, he's full of shit. And tell him I said so, please. He's full of shit on that. I can tell you. I can promise you that.
But yeah. Okay. Well, hey, we're just looking for the answers here. We're not putting, any kind of, nobody's guilty until we've, fully figured it out.
I think we got a good clue. I think we're on to something.
I do too. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I agree, Sherlock. You're right.
Yeah.
We'll probably go ahead
I
and
was thinking
slam the
more like
gavel.
Columbo. Yeah.
Okay.
Now you know the rest of the story.
Yeah, that's fine.
Next question, Jimmy.
Okay, next question is the official George Weingroff Pussy Hound question of the day.
I'm a genius.
Oh.
Yeah. So
he's made it a point that every episode we have to ask this particular question of every wrestler. This is something that George asked us to put in just for him.
Yeah. So, Tom, if this is something you don't want to answer, you'll have to take it up with Shooter George. Okay. So
you got it.
He says, which town had the best rats?
Man, I got to tell you, Pensacola was pretty good for rats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet it was.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Memphis wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe I thought, well, hold on.
maybe in the 80s, but definitely not in the 90s.
Yeah, not in the 90s, maybe not. But no, I mean, everywhere I went, there always seemed, it was still the territory days, and it was still a lot of Wild West stuff going on. Yeah. And I got in right on the last days of that, and that was a lot of fun, man. So I mean, everywhere I went, I couldn't complain, man. I didn't have any problem in that department.
Yeah. I'm imagining so. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Which one out of all the territories you worked, which one was your favorite?
Well, I mean, I had fun in all of them, but I got to go back to Pensacola and Birmingham because I was there with the Armstrongs and just having a blast. And Gulf Breeze was like 10 minutes from the beach, and you didn't have to leave till sometimes 3:00 in the afternoon to go to the towns, and you were back by 11:30, and you could grill out and party, and man, it was like living in paradise every single day. You're working with people you like to work with, and towns you like going to, and it was nice.
That makes a difference.
Fun in the fun. Yeah, it made a whole hell of a lot of difference. Yeah.
Yeah, especially the part about working with your buddies,
Yeah. Every night was a night off.
Yeah, and being able to go out there and lock up and crack a joke and just have fun, and the people didn't know any different.
No, they really didn't, man. And it was like you get there and it was somebody say, hey, what are you doing afterwards? And everybody get together at the condo and, like I said, cook out or have a good time and just party all night, and then get up the next day, go to the gym, go to the beach, and do it all over again. Yeah. A lot of fun.
There was a time period where I lived in an apartment complex in Nashville, and also in that apartment complex was Gypsy Joe, Bobby Eaton, Jamie, and Chris Michaels. I think that was it.
Oh.
But, yeah. Now talk about and then the kids too, our kids, and we'd all go to the pool and have a good time, man. It was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a hell of a crew.
Yeah. And then Bobby, man, bless him, man, just how good he was.
You alone carry that. Yeah.
But yeah, Bobby, how good he was with the kids and stuff, man. It was nice,
Well, Bobby was good with everybody.
Yeah, well, sure, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
He loved the kids, man.
Yes, he did.
Was working with Bobby, so you when you all worked with, I mean, this is my absolute peak era. I mean, for me as a fan of peak era, Dr. Tom Prichard was, and I know you had incredible run in the 80s too, but what I mean by that is that early 90s run when I was watching you in Smoky Mountain, I just absolutely thought y'all were the coolest. And you and Stan Lane and Bobby, was that ever a thing that you all actually thought was going to go on further as a trio, or was this just, hey, look, Bobby's on the team for a little bit? Was that kind of the deal?
Yeah, that was kind of the deal. Bobby, I think, was taking a break from WCW. I think Jimmy borrowed him from WCW for a little bit and let him be on there. But I didn't think he was coming on permanently.
Okay, yeah. Because it kind of felt like y'all were in two different kind of places, if that makes sense. And I'm not knocking Bobby. Yeah. Not knocking Bobby. It just kind of felt like y'all were kind of fired up and going one direction. And, I don't know. It just seemed like it was more surprising to see Arn and Tully in the WWE. This is crazy to say, and some people are going to shoot me, than it was to see the Heavenly Bodies. I don't know why, but it felt like y'all were almost... Maybe it was the difference in eras. Maybe that was it. But I know that.
I was going to say, I think too, Arn and Tully were so WCW ingrained, and we really,
right.
I think we were just Smoky Mountain, and we really hadn't been exposed to the national scene there for a time, So, and you got to remember, man, Bobby and Dennis, and then Bobby and Stan. They had runs, man. They already had their run, and by this time, Smoky Mountain wasn't really. Let's say it was a valiant effort, but it was just the wrong time.
Right.
It was when business was changing, and things were different, and the styles were changing, and if you weren't on that WWF TV at the time, then they just thought, yeah, you're just a pissant. And so it was a different era. It was different times and stuff. But
yeah,
I think it was just a matter of timing on everybody's part.
No, that makes a lot of sense, actually. And to hear you say that is almost like what Wolfie feels when people say stuff similar to that about Memphis, because that was everything, man. Smoky Mountain was the best to me. And, even though I know now, I look back and I see, okay, 400 people in Council, Virginia, it's like, okay, I get it. Yeah, they're probably struggling there for a little bit. And I start to see stuff like that. And then in Morristown, you had 1,500 people, or in Knoxville, you had 1,900. Or something like that. So it wasn't like every town that you weren't doing well in. It was just some of those smaller towns, maybe, and y'all went out there,
Yeah, we did. It was just a geographic area we were in. These small towns, people who were wrestling fans, they wanted to come out and they wanted to see. WWF wasn't going to stop there, but Smoky Mountain would.
Yeah. I love that. And I thank y'all for that,
we
man.
Too. Yeah, we thank everybody else for that too, because that was awesome.
Yeah, that was everything, man. I got another one. This is totally opposite direction, actually, but I know you have a strong ties to Gene LaBelle, and anytime I can hear some Gene LaBelle stories. But what do you think of the have you ever been asked the question about him and Seagal? Have you ever heard that one?
I've heard that one where he beat his ass.
Yeah. Do you know any of that story by chance, or?
See, Gene never said any. I never heard that story from Gene LaBelle, but I mean, I've heard that story many times over the years, and I would believe it because Gene was that kind of guy. He's well respected in martial arts and wrestling in circles. So I could see it.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm the odd man out here. I don't know the story, and maybe the listeners don't. Can you tell it?
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, apparently Seagal was on set and bullying some of the stunt guys. And Steven Seagal, was on set and was bullying some of the stunt guys and pushing them around or being extra stiff with them during the scenes and shit. And I think Gene put him in his place. Yeah, Gene kicked his ass.
Really?
So that's it in a nutshell.
Huh. And now that you say that, I do feel like I've heard that before. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And Seagal is such a lovable guy. He's such a lovable guy.
Well,
Yeah.
He's just he comes across like a dick.
Yeah, definitely. He does. He definitely does.
Mm.
And I know you kind of knew Gene at a different era than when that would have happened. So, an older Gene, an older and even maybe wiser Gene, somebody, maybe Steven would say, oh, this broken down old man, and then he whips his ass, That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So. I think that's probably what happened too. I don't know. I wouldn't mess with Gene. I wouldn't mess with Gene LaBelle when he was 99 years old. It's kind of like a bullet. I wouldn't mess with the bullet no matter what age he was.
Yeah. The bullet's the best. Yeah. God, man. God.
Hey, I want to go back real quick because we were talking about Bobby, and man, I hate it so much that like I got to know Bobby, was around him quite a bit, but I never got to work with Bobby. How? And I know you're going to say one of the greatest and all that, but like, did he call anything beforehand, or did he call everything on the fly?
No, everything was on the fly.
Really? That's crazy, because you watch his matches, you're like, how the fuck did he call that? Crazy.
Well, I think it's just because he was in the ring with guys that at that time could work, and he would call stuff, and it was, if you watch his stuff, I mean, it's pretty simple, pretty clear cut, and you just had to know Bobby's stuff he was going to do to you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the mark of a great worker, and he was the greatest, one of the greatest, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I hated that I never got to work with him, man. It sucks.
Yeah.
No doubt. I mean, just being in one locker room with him was worth it for me. That was all I needed.
Let's take a quick time out and get a word from one of my dope-ass sponsors, and we'll be right back with more Live and in Color with Wolfie D.
Acura's all-new ADX, a compact SUV that isn't just built for one thing, it's precision crafted for everything. To escape the grind with available all-wheel drive. To go with your flow with available Google built-in.
Hey Google, turn it up.
Okay, turning up the volume. And crafted to be heard with an available Bang & Olufsen premium sound system. The all-new Acura ADX, crafted to match your energy. Acura, precision crafted performance.
Take your vibes and go.
Google is a trademark of Google LLC.
Look around. You can find cars like these on AutoTrader, like that car right in your tail. Or if you're tailgating right now, all those cars doubling as kitchens and living rooms are on AutoTrader too. Are you working out and listening to this ad at the same time? Well, multitasking pro, cars like the ones in the gym parking lot are for sale on AutoTrader. New cars, used cars, electric cars, maybe even flying cars. Okay, no flying cars, but as soon as they get invented, they'll be on AutoTrader. Just you wait. AutoTrader.
Are you a pro wrestling fan? Well, stop by Captain's Corner, where you can get autographed photos, cards, magazines, and figures from all of your favorite wrestling superstars of the past, present, and future. You'll also be able to participate in live signings in the weeks and months to come. Make sure to stop by Captain's Corner on Facebook and give us a holler. Remember, cheers to the working man.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
There are people out there all across the country pushing boundaries to grow the game of golf. Like champion speed golfer Lauren Cupp, who plays faster than anyone else. And Will Lowry, whose work in the golf community inspires more kids to get into the game. As a champion partner of the Masters, Bank of America supports everyone determined to find out what's possible in golf and in life. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC, copyright 2025, Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Okay, so when you guys were, I'm trying to think about how to word this. So Ben Jordan, you know Ben Jordan, you know Ben, right?
Yeah.
Don't you, Tom? Yeah. I thought you did. Yeah, Ben asked this question the other day, and he was asking me, and I want you guys to clear this up. So Memphis in the 80s was Continental Wrestling Association. What did the CWA stand for? I've heard some people say it was Continental, and then some people say it was Championship. What did the CWA?
I don't. Yeah, I believe so. I can't remember because obviously I didn't work in the 80s in Memphis, but yeah, I remember that logo with the Conan looking thing.
Yeah.
I think it was the Continental Wrestling Association.
Okay. And then, because Ben was like saying, I just remember the Championship Wrestling Association, but I just was curious, like there was the Continental and then there was Continental on the other side of this there too. So I guess my question is was that actually a thing there? There was two Continentals there for a minute.
I don't know if it was necessarily. Well, wait a minute, because when they called it Continental Wrestling Continental, it was the Continental Championship Wrestling was the one in Alabama,
right?
And Continental
was it Wrestling Association?
Continental Wrestling Association (CWA) was Memphis, I think.
Okay.
That's when they brought in, made the world title and put it on Billy Robinson, right?
Yeah,
I think that's it.
I'm trying to find.
I know the tag belts came from there. The tag belts that were used in USWA actually came from Continental. Those were
that's true.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. Held those a few times, haven't you, Tom?
Yeah. But Robert Fuller. I mean, it could be Jerry Lawler. Jerry Jarrett called him that. While he was working with Robert Fuller. I don't know. That's a good question. Now I'm thinking about it. I don't know. Maybe they did.
What's funny too in saying that, because talking about those titles, the tag titles, they came from Continental and they were used in Memphis, but they actually say USA champion, tag team champions. So it doesn't say USWA, it doesn't say CWA, it doesn't say Continental, it says USA championship. I don't know.
Well, you know where those belts, the USA belts, were the ones Ron had in Knoxville when he worked in Knoxville in USA Championship Wrestling.
Oh, so that was called USA Championship Wrestling.
Right.
Yeah, that was in Knoxville.
Okay. All right. I always thought they came.
And then Alabama was a different one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. That clears it up a little bit there.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to know the history of a belt that I held 15 damn times.
Very nice. 15 times a long time, Wolfie.
Yes, and it's also getting beat a lot too.
And they didn't even take it with them to the.
You got to win them back.
They didn't even take it with them to the WWE. The one chance they could have, and Vince said, "Hey, where's your tag belts at?"
Yeah. Well, no, they didn't even tell us
and
that. No, because you remember. Okay, so 95, the first time we go up there, they give us a win, and then we work the smoking guns for the titles, right, for the WWF titles. Well, we come walking to the ring. Nobody told us, because back then Vince never put over other companies, never. And Vince and Lawler were on commentary, and Vince says he calls us the USWA Tag Team Champions, and we got no belts on because we didn't bring them because we didn't think we'd be able to wear them out, but we could have had that opportunity and didn't know. Little trivia there.
Well, we used the Smoky Mountain belts.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
What year would that have been that you used?
That was 93.
Really?
Right, or 90? No, 91. No, let's see. When did we go there? We went there in 93. Yeah, we brought the Smoky Mountain belts.
Huh. Well, nobody told us to. So, our opportunity, but at least they called us that, even though we didn't have any belts to show for it. It's all good.
Well, that's all right. You guys do it.
Yeah, we sure as fuck did.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity.
Yes.
What are you going to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to get into some wrestling questions. All right, so who's the easiest wrestler you ever trained?
Ooh, I don't know if there was ever an easy wrestler, but I mean, gosh,
quickest learner maybe could be
sure. That's a sure.
Do what?
Quickest learner.
Quickest learner.
Quickest learner. I think Kurt Angle. I have to say that, the guy who came in and for an amateur wrestler, because that was so foreign to him, but he was a quick learner. He pretty much got this.
Yeah. Yeah.
They sent him to Memphis when Randy was running Power Pro, and he got hitched with me quite a bit. Now, that would have been after you started training him, right? So like around 1999. So. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was after that. Yeah.
He was definitely because I worked with him early on. I've worked with a lot of them early on, and definitely, man, he was good from the get go.
Yeah, he had an idea what was happening, man. He knew. He was easy. That gold medal.
Yeah. Okay, so who was the?
Just kidding.
Who was the hardest to train, or I would say, who didn't get it and then ended up getting it that surprised you? Maybe. Do you have one like that?
Mark Henry took a little bit, but he wound up getting it.
Yeah. I mean, he's
in the beginning he did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he got it. He loved the business.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he got it. Yeah. The one who probably was the hardest and didn't get it was Brockus.
Oh man.
I remember him.
Brockus.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had to work with some of them guys.
Yeah. Where did he come from? Where did Brockus come from?
He was from L.A. I mean, from Germany, really, but he was a big bodybuilder from L.A. And every time we'd go into a gym, like a real gym that had the Iron Man and not Muscle and Fitness, but Iron Man and the hardcore bodybuilding magazines on the table. As you walk in, there's Brockus on the cover of most of them.
I remember when he was in Memphis, they sent him to Memphis, and the rumor has it, I don't know, but his girlfriend broke up with him because his farts smelled so bad that they stunk up the house all the time from where he ate so much and all that.
Protein.
Yeah, protein farts were so bad his girlfriend broke up with him.
I mean,
wow. Well,
I just wanted to know what your response to that was going to be, Tom.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to respond to that. That's terrible, I guess, huh?
That's got to be bad.
I'm going to miss her. I'll miss her. Yeah.
My goodness. Yeah, man. I had to work with a bunch of those guys. Some of the power plant guys, too. You remember the dude that was a bobsledder? Olympic bobsledder guy?
No.
I think he was power plant.
Yeah, he's probably WCW.
Yeah, I think he was. And then there was a dude that was with him. They called him Max Muscle from WCW too. He was a big bodybuilder guy. And we had to work with him. And a funny story is we had the belts, and it was a Friday night on a Buddy Wayne town, right? And Buddy Wayne comes to me and Jamie, and he says, he's giving us the finish. And the finish is Jamie's got one of them in a Boston Crab, distract the ref, and the other guy comes and hits Jamie with a chain, 1, 2, 3. And me and Jamie, Buddy walked away, and we kind of looked at each other, and we thought, is he ribbing? I mean, he wants us to drop the belts here the night before TV, to these guys. And so he said, maybe he is ribbing or something. So Jamie and me go up to Buddy. We said, Buddy, we can't do that finish, right? And he had in one hand, he had a bag of popcorn. In the other hand, he had a bag of popcorn. He was like heading to the concession stand or something. And he took the popcorn, he slammed it on the ground. At the same time, he's, goddamn prima donna, son of a bitches. And he threw the popcorn on the floor. Then,
holy shit.
And he said, Jamie, do you think that these people will believe that you and Wolfie can beat these two boys? And Jamie said, I don't know, buddy, but I tell you what they will believe is we ain't wrestling tonight. And we left.
Yeah. Well,
we didn't get no heat because, we couldn't drop the belts on his show, Randy got hot at them. So Buddy didn't like old Wolfie and Jamie too much because we didn't wear tights. We didn't wear boots.
Well,
didn't grab a hole.
Yeah, y'all were anti-establishment way back then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Grab a hold.
Grab a hold. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Buddy. Do you have any good, funny Buddy Wayne stories?
No, not really. I'm sure I do, but not that I can think of. I got a good guy coffee story. I got Mr. Coffee mad at me one time.
Yeah.
Mr. Coffee was the makeshift commissioner at the town one time, and he came out and reversed his decision on me or something like that. And Miss Coffee was at the gimmick table, and I came back and said, damn, Miss Coffee, I can't believe you with that man, or something like that. Or I don't remember exactly what I said. And she was drunk, and she went up and said, don't you talk about my husband like that, you son of a bitch. And she was wanting to hit me and swat me, and oh, man. I bought her a bottle of Jack Daniels the next day, the little bottles of Jack. I bought her like 6 bottles of Jack and apologized to her. Yeah, she didn't talk to me the rest of the time I was there, though. But, yeah.
That's funny. Now, you remember all the rumors about Mr. Coffee's toupee and that it was buttoned on and all that kind of stuff? Some people say it was Velcro. Some people said it was buttons. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's Velcroed on. I don't think you can button that thing like that. Yeah, good looking toupee.
Oh man,
I think Miss Coffee wore a toupee too. She wore a wig.
They have.
Yeah.
You know what cracked me up, man, is that nobody ever caught on to the whole Mr. Coffee coming to the curtain gimmick, for the go home on TV. Nobody ever caught on to that. As far as I know, like the people, I've never heard anybody say that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so obvious. It's right there in your face.
Yeah. So you're hiding in plain sight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The toupee was Velcro.
Yeah. I think it's Velcro.
Velcro. Can you imagine?
Oh, man, that was funny stuff. Jimmy, you got another wrestling question?
Of course. So I'm just curious, actually, tell me the story about booking the storyline that was specifically about Sonny leaving and then going to the Guns and you guys hiring Cloudy, which was
oh God. Yeah, that was I think that was intentionally to bury us.
Oh man, okay.
Yeah, that was intentional. I think that was just a big rib to get Tammy away from Chris, and she was with Sean back then, and I think that was just a way to bury us. I was pretty well checked out by then.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean, man? That was miserable. That was a miserable time.
Yeah. Yeah. That we've talked about that before with different people. That had to be a brutal time to be around Chris and her, man. That's
Oh yeah. I rode to a town with him just one time, and I got there and asked for another ride with some other guys.
Yeah.
Because it was just bad.
She's never been a pleasant person. She's never been a pleasant person. When I was around, I just, people ask you about her, and I'm just like, I mean, yeah, she was pretty and all, but in her time, but she was an asshole of a person.
Yeah, pretty face don't make no pretty heart, that's for sure. She didn't have one. She was miserable the whole time.
Old karma came around on her.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Not just in the punishment, but to me the vanity, the reversal of the vanity too. I think that's that probably kills her.
Yeah.
I mean, it all falls apart eventually, guys, right? I mean, that's just how it is.
No kidding.
I mean, was there times that you tried to talk to Chris and say, like, hey, dude, like, there was no talking to him, I'm sure, right? He probably...
Well, I did try to talk to him.
Yeah.
I did try to talk to him. I tried to talk to her, too.
Yeah.
And
love and eyes never seen.
Yeah. She just couldn't hear it, couldn't see it. So, and it was obvious, by the way she led her life outside after wrestling, she just, she thought it was never going to end.
Yeah. Well, man,
that's right.
Man, Chris, tell us something funny about Chris, man. Tell us a funny story about hanging out with Chris. I know you got some about Gigolo Jimmy, I'm sure, and some good ones with Stan, but I'd like to hear a story about Chris.
Well, Chris loved the business, man. I mean, he really did. He loved and just respected the business. He'd been wrestling since he was a kid too. I had the kids wrestling organization, but I was supposed to work with him in ECW arena, and he picked me up. I met him somewhere, him and Bubba Ray, and we were going to the arena, and Paul Heyman called him, and he was giving him the finish for the match. And so he didn't want to tell me that Paul wanted him to go over. Well, I've been going to ECW arena to put him over anyway. I already had that in my mind. Nobody had to tell me that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It made no sense for me to go to ECW and beat Chris.
Right.
So he didn't want to tell me, but eventually he did. And I said, sure, what's your finish? It says a power bomb off the top rope. And I said, okay. And then as soon as I said that, I said, wait a minute, what? Power bomb off the top rope. So we don't have to do that, man. We do like a schoolboy or something. I said, no, hell no. How's the ring to bump in? He says, it's a good bumping ring. I said, no, we'll do it anyway. We'll do the power bomb off the top rope. And we did. He was like, he didn't know how to tell me he was going over that night. And I thought, shit, man, it's cool.
Yeah.
That's what it came to do. He was very, very, that's what he lived for, man. And I've been like that too. That's all you concentrate on is wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now a word from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Support for Live and in Color with Wolfie D is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped recently launched the Ultimate Men's Hygiene Bundle, the Performance Package. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code WOLFIE at manscaped.com. If my math's correct, that's about 8 million balls.
Man, you know, and I've talked about this before, but I don't know to get your take on it. The Memphis culture was so different and actually toxic in a way, looking back, because that type of person was almost looked down upon, in my opinion. If you talked about wrestling outside of the building, you were a mark, you know, or you know, God, can we talk about something besides wrestling? That type of shit. Didn't want to talk about it in a car, you know, wait till we get to the building type shit. And then I go other places and it's really opposite of that. And people, and you know, you come back from the ring in Memphis and how many people go, God, that was a fucking abortion. No matter how good your match was. But then you go other places and, you know, you get a standing ovation and stuff like that. Do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, I agree. It was a different culture. It really, it was, you know, it was still a carryover from the generation before, and where it was a big man sport and big man's deal, and it was all about size, bigger's better. And a lot of those guys weren't ready to give up their spots. If you remember in the 80s and even sometimes in the 90s, you had guys that were hanging around a little too long.
Yeah.
But it was toxic at times, especially for a young guy coming in and didn't really have any connections or anything. They wanted to make sure you stayed where you were and know who's going to climb. And then you had other veterans who would help you and want to help see you succeed and help you in the ring and help you outside the ring too, but not everybody would. Yeah, there were a whole bunch of assholes, man. But I think it's changed for the better. And I still think no matter what in that environment, you're going to have competition, and it could turn toxic. It usually does, because you have a rivalry and you're all wanting the same thing. You know, I'm watching this John Cena, Cody Rhodes angle going on. I think it's great. You know, Cena's saying all the stuff that people are really thinking, and John knows that, Cody knows that, and they're going out there and they're pulling this off, and people are intrigued by it. They're I don't want to say amazed, but the word I'm looking for, they're enthralled by what's going on. And I think it's one of the best things they got going on today. I watched a little Raw last night when I got in, and I clicked on with the Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins promo. And that was done very well.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
I tell you what, who I really think is good, man, and they're doing good stuff with is Gunther.
It's a current affair.
The whole deal where he, you know, tied the brother up and got the color on the other kid and all that. I mean, that to me, that was old school good heat right there, and I think he's a good worker. And I'm really hoping that let me ask you, if you were booking WrestleMania, would you put Jay over Gunther and put the title on him, or would you keep Gunther your champion?
No, I would put Jay. I'd give him the title.
Really? I don't think he needs it. I think he's over enough, and you know he's selling merch. I don't think he needs it. And I think you could keep Gunther as a really strong fucking heel if you give him another win at WrestleMania.
But then who do you drop the title to?
I don't know. I just don't think it should be Jay. I'm not sold on him 100%. I know he's over. I know. I get the reaction from the people. I get it. I understand all that. But I just don't see him as being a world champion. But you know, what do I?
Well, that's. Well, there you go. None of us know for sure until it happens. But I mean, I think it's one of those things where it's all perception. And, Cody had to win the title at least, to finish this story, or at least to continue the story, tell another chapter. I think Jay also, main event Jey Uso, has to finish it up with something at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Hell, I could be wrong too. I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows? We'll find out in about a week.
I mean, is Cena going to beat Cody, you think? Is he going to win that, or is Cody going to maintain?
Steve, once again, I think putting the title on Cena is a great idea.
Right. And then,
you know what I mean? Finish out his retirement.
Right.
As a champion, and have people just loathe to hate him because they want to see somebody beat his ass.
Yeah.
Because if he's beat, then he's beat.
Then I don't see Gunther going over if Cena goes over. I in my opinion, they always like to send him home happy. And the Uso thing, the Jey Uso reminds me so much of when Daniel Bryan was going to win it, and beat Batista. It was so, it was like a send him home happy moment. And I think that's probably, I don't want to disagree with you, Wolf, but I do kind of think they'll probably put it on Jay because
I'm not saying that they won't. I'm just saying if it were me, and that's neither here nor there, but I just would like to see Gunther maintain his steam, man. I just I hate it when, I don't know. I just hate it when they killed the dragon sometimes, man.
Yeah. Well, the way they do it, I think they'll do it with the dragon still smoking.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah. We shall see.
What's going to go on with the trio then? Since we're talking WrestleMania, why not? Let's just guess some stuff here. What do you think is going to happen with the Paul Heyman in the corner? How would you book that, Tom?
See, that's intriguing as hell to me because you got three strong personalities there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Do you have Seth turn on or Paul Heyman turn on Roman and Punk? He said last night he would never do it, but Seth says, now you owe me a favor. So, do you have Paul Heyman turn on those guys and Seth comes away victorious? I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting. And I said I haven't seen that part yet, so I'll have to watch that. I was actually watching before we got on here talking, but hadn't got too far into it. What do you think about the girls, the three-way?
I haven't really been following that one. I catch Raw when I can. Like I said, when I come home and it's still on. I know I can start it from the beginning with Netflix, but I just haven't had a chance to sit down and watch and catch up on everything.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that they actually took the belt off Rhea like that. I didn't expect that on that a few weeks ago, I guess it was. But I'm biased. I'm a mark for her. I hope she wins.
Yeah,
he's got a very badass goth fetish.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh man. Okay, so I got another one here, Tom. So, who were some up and coming that you, I guess, in some of your recent classes? Who were some up and comers that you really see a lot in for maybe the next generation of wrestling stars? Who are some of your up and coming stars that you've seen?
I don't know if I have any up and coming stars right now. They're all out on the independent scene doing what they can do, but it's really tough, man, because they're recruiting. Are you talking about just stars in general?
No, yeah, just in general. Like, who do you see something in that you've got some recent touch on?
Who?
And I hate to put you on the spot.
Know, man.
Yeah,
yeah, because that really is to think about that. Who the next upcoming stars are, like. Not just WWE, but just talking about in general.
Yeah. Or is there anybody you've recently trained with that, you see something in that you're hopeful for that maybe, or you just know that there's a process and it doesn't matter until it happens?
Well, I'll be honest with you. This is just my straight, honest answer. Not that I've been lying to you all this time.
Right.
But it takes a lot to really catch somebody's eye as being a next star. You can see somebody who's going out there and having some good matches and be mediocre and be okay. But I haven't seen anybody that's really shined through lately. Well, maybe, let me think here, because we'll go to NWA. Silas Mason
Yeah.
He's a guy who, you know Silas?
Oh, yeah. I'm a fan of him. Yeah. I think he's got some upside for sure.
I think he's got some star qualities about him.
Definitely.
Carson Drake is another guy with NWA.
Okay. Yeah, I know who that is. Yeah.
Yeah, young kid. Got potential. Damn. Yeah, it's racking my brain to try and think.
Well, we didn't mean to put you on the spot. Yeah, that's a good one.
No, you good. I should have it on the top of my head.
I think Silas is a great, answer though, because I definitely see high potential in him. I think it's just any day now that he'll be doing something else. And I love that he speaks with a Southern accent. I mean, he's a romping, stomping, buck snorting, he just seems like the real deal. You know what I mean? Like he seems like
he is. Yeah, he is a real deal.
Yeah, yeah, and I think
he is that guy, Wolfie. You would love to be around him.
Oh yeah,
we got to get him on the show. Carrie said we had an open invite.
Yeah, we'll have to get in touch with Carrie on that then, unless Tom's got contact with him. I don't know.
I'm sure Tom can help us out. We'll work that out off the air. But one thing we got to talk about is this happy hour that you've got coming up at Captain's Corner, right, Wolfie? We got to talk to.
Yes,
Tom.
We do have to talk to him about that. It's being held in parts unknown.
Yeah, but it's on the internet, man. It's on the internet.
It's a virtual signing, Tom.
Yeah, that wide world.
The virtual signing. Go ahead.
Captain's Corner Happy Hour with Dr. Tom Prichard live Friday, April 25th, 2025. So that's coming up very soon. What do you know? Signing some pictures. You got some cool memorabilia you're going to sign for him.
Yeah, Nick usually has some good stuff waiting for me to sign. So that's on the 25th. I'm looking forward to it.
So if you've got any Dr. Tom memorabilia out there and you want to get it signed, talk to Captain's Corner, Nick. We can get you in touch with him. That's no problem. Or go to any of his pages.
Tom, I gotta ask why you are not on a tribute to Smoky Mountain show in Elizabethton, Tennessee. That's your neck of the woods on May the 10th.
Tell him it's Elizabethton.
I am there, and so is the Dirty White Boy. So is Mustafa, Jimmy Golden, Rock and Roll Express. I do believe that is the Smoky Mountain guys of the list. Why is Dr. Tom not on this show?
What day was that now?
May the 10th.
That's coming up.
That is coming up in a little over a month.
I think that was because I had class or I had something going on. I got to look at my book. I got a conflict of interest. That's what it was.
A conflict of interest. Interessante.
Yeah. I had another booking. I think I'm booked somewhere else.
Well, hell's bells. I was going to say I would love to see you. Yeah.
I'd love to see you too.
Yeah, I miss you, man. I miss you. But maybe down the line somewhere we'll bump into each other again. And I want to say thank you again for coming on and talking with us for a little bit here and taking time out of your janitorial duties to talk to us.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me again. Yeah, I always love talking to you, Wolfie.
Yes, sir. You too, man. So everybody check out Captain's Corner and tune in next week. Actually, we're going to take a break and we're going to come back with Ask Wolfie D Anything. Thank you, Dr. Tom. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Tom. Thank you, sir.
Almost closed the whole show. All right, buddy. Well,
thank you, Tom.
Tell Glenn I said hello and everybody.
You got it.
Thank you,
man.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, the podcast that's based on the old school but can still help you find the good stuff from today. Jimmy Street and the Plastic Chic, Jared, are the undisputed tag team champions of the wrestling podcast world. From thought-provoking topics to superstar interviews to action figure expertise. This team does it all, and all they ask is, give me back my pro wrestling! Every other Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right, we are back with Ask Wolfie D Anything. And Wolfie, Dr. Tom is always a pleasure, man, right? Come on.
Always enjoy talking to Tom. Makes me miss him, man. Seriously, I wish I still lived in Knoxville.
Yeah. What a class act that guy is. I mean, he's just, I don't know. I just think of him through my childhood, kind of in the same level as like Dirty White Boy, just the villain of my childhood, man. Love that guy. So, he's a good brother. Cool. Yeah, and we definitely make sure you sign up. Make sure you're there for that virtual signing for the Captain's Corner Happy Hour with Dr. Tom. That is April 25th. Do not miss that. I know Nick will be glad to hear from y'all, and make sure you tell him that Wolfie D sent you.
Yes,
but
sir.
Today we got some Ask Wolfie here, and the very first one, well, this one doesn't count because this one is actually just a, you sure about that, Wolfie? Are you sure about that? This one is from John Lewis, and he is simply asking, Big Business Brown, Wolfie, you sure about that?
Yeah, we're not sure about that. I guess we found out otherwise, didn't we? So I told you, hey, if I can forget wrestling Dusty Rose, I can forget being managed by Big Business Brown. I promise.
No disrespect to either one of them, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think that was. I don't know if that was a one and done or if that was. I do not remember that, but I saw it with my own two eyes, and it definitely happened.
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, thanks, John, for doubling down on that, brother. Appreciate that. But we actually do have a real question. The actual very first one on this Ask Wolfie is from JP the Vanilla Gorilla on X, and he asks, do you guys think the old school Southern Brawl style match could ever come back to the main event scene? Heavy focus on punches and believable selling. To me, it's the style that has stood the test of time the longest.
Well, I think I've talked about this here pretty recently, that I think WWE has kind of gone back to a lot of old school stuff. If you look at the ladder match with Cody and KO, Kevin Owens, there was a lot of punching, kicking, fight involved in that. I mean, there was some moves here and there, but I think that was along the lines of what he's saying. So definitely, yeah, man, anything, you could do anything if you do it right. It's just about making it believable, make it make sense. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. If I were AEW, I would drop in elements of that right now just to test it out. What do you got to lose? You know what I'm saying?
I guess I'm starting to understand this argument of, everybody's got a different favorite flavor or whatever, but I've just always felt like your card needs to have a little bit of everything instead of your promotion having just one thing, basically.
Exactly.
And to me, that's what they're about,
Exactly.
And again, not really knocking anybody, just I don't know. And I mean, their attendance and their numbers and stuff kind of proves that we're right about that,
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
So, and like I say, I hate saying that kind of stuff because I got friends that work there, but it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, hey, I think you said it the way it should be said, so that's all we can say about that. But yeah, definitely, thank you for that question. We definitely appreciate that, JP. I think Southern Wrestling could do it all over again, and it would be great. So, but I mean, that's just me, right? But whatever.
Right.
Okay, so the next one is from Mac A. Ronan on Instagram, and he says, hey guys, love the show. I really enjoy getting to hear some of the interviews that you just can't get anywhere else. So thanks to both of you. That being said, I have a question for Ask Wolfie. We all know Wolfie trained many different wrestlers over the years. What would you consider the hardest part of helping guys break into the business, and what were the parts you enjoyed the most? Thanks again.
Well, I think you enjoy seeing someone, debut and do good, like Charles Alexander, the standout that I trained in Nashville there. He was so good, man. He was so good, and some things got in the way for him. But just, being able to watch him in his first match and the crowd react to him and all that. And that's a good feeling, man, because he learned all this from me, and he's done well with it. I mean, he also had to have his own athletic ability, obviously, and could do stuff that I could never do. But the hardest part, though, is like I was saying, man, training people can be frustrating, especially when they're not going to quite get it, or they keep screwing up the same thing, because in my, training, I got stuff just like that. Things didn't come hard for me. And so to have the patience to go, okay, this person is not getting it as quickly as I did, frustrates me a little bit, but I that's just being, I don't know, that's kind of being a dick. but I did enjoy doing that, man, training people. And, I feel like I was a good teacher. I was, someone that could explain it to make you understand it, and teaching. One of the hardest things to teach is the psychology of the business, and being able to explain that is a gift in itself.
No doubt. Seriously.
And another thing is I would always show them myself. So I ended up taking a lot of bumps. It's where a lot of guys won't get out there and bump when they're training you. I would, because I would say, this is what it is supposed to look like. You do this like I just did it, so.
Yeah. And then you don't have my brain, so you can't necessarily do that. But, it's.
Yeah.
In theory, you think that should be able to happen, and I understand that, because I would.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, thank you for that answer, Wolfie, and thank you for that question. That was a good one. We definitely appreciate it. The last one for Ask Wolfie today is from Marty Confetti, and he's the famous "I broke Wahoo's egg" on X.
Yeah.
And he says, "What is the worst payoff Wolfie ever got in wrestling?"
I mean, I know early on I'd probably been paid $15 or something like that.
Yeah.
Wasn't real happy about that, but what are you going to do at that point? But I've been stiffed on a couple of occasions. I know I told you the story where Mitch Bell tried to stiff me.
Yeah.
And I followed him to his house.
Yeah.
So that's just, I like I said, when I got in, man, we hear guys driving all these miles to these shows and getting paid hardly nothing because they're paying their dues. But you don't literally pay your dues. You still got to try to make a little money, man.
Seriously.
That's just the way I was taught,
Yeah.
And I know, again, the game has changed a lot. There's more people in it. There's more people that are willing to go to a show that you would not want to go because you weren't getting paid enough or whatever. But, why are you going to sit there and, go broke over it? I don't get that part of it. You got to make something.
Yeah. And that, dude, that's the thing about podcasting. That's the thing about wrestling. There are those that want to make a career of it, and there are those that don't ever want to make a career of it. And I can see the frustration in both, hey man, this guy's not taking it serious enough. He's a 40-miler podcaster. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in wrestling, it turns around, and I can totally see that, because there is viable money in wrestling, and there's viable, ways to make a living. But man,
and you got it with some of these promoters and stuff that, they got a good real job. So they'll spend money on a wrestling show and don't really care whether it loses or not,
Right.
That's another part of it. It's just like, this is insanity to me. Why would you not want to make money?
Yeah.
More of it.
It's just like you're running a weekly party,
Yeah, just to hang with your buddies. It's like a pickup game of basketball or something, You just want your buddies or hire some famous guys to come in and hang out with you, It's just dumb.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that makes sense, man. Yeah. Well, that is actually all we got for today, Wolfie D, as far as the questions go. So thank you for that, and thank you, Dr. Tom, and thank you, Captain Nick, man.
Yeah, and coming up this weekend, I hope everybody enjoys WrestleMania. I'll be watching.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, be fun.
Be some pretty good stuff, man. Thanks for joining us again this week, guys, and tune in next week. We'll see what we have for you.
Still live and in color on the Wolfie D. We got a cap for your dome.
Hi, this is Mike Needham, host of the Reckless Abandon podcast with Mike Needham. We invite you to jump on your favorite podcast platform and search for the Reckless Abandon podcast and give us a listen. I'm sometimes joined by a part-time podcaster, part-time co-host, and full-time wife, Tiffany Nicole. We talk wrestling, we talk pop culture, we talk local events, local happenings in West Tennessee, and a ton of other stuff. But be sure to check out the Reckless Abandon podcast. Find us on Facebook. Also, look up the Microgroup Podcasting family on Facebook and see some of our other podcasts we have out there. Until next time, make good choices, and always remember, no dollar, no dice.
Hey everybody, Gene Jackson here, inviting you to check out the Retro Wrestling Review, where each week I'm joined by some great co-hosts who help me review classic episodes of USWA Championship Wrestling, and right now we are doing week-by-week reviews of 1993. But we don't just do reviews, sometimes we get a chance to interview some of the people who were there and lived it, plus do watch-alongs. It's a lot of fun, so check out new episodes that drop every Wednesday at WrestleCopia.com, and to find links to everything associated to the podcast, you can go to USWApodcast.com.
So that was another great episode. Hey, Wolfie, tell them where they can find you on social media.
Jimmy, they can find me in the club, bottle full of bub. I'm just kidding. They can find me on Facebook. My personal page is Warren Wolf, WOLFE. I'm on Instagram at Warren Wolf 13.
You can always find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Live Wolfie D. Here's the thing. Wolfie always has offers for his autographed photos. He has a selection of some awesome photos from throughout his career that he will autograph and personalize any way that you want him to. Just contact him either directly at his personal Facebook page or through any one of our other pages, and we'll make sure you get in contact directly with Wolfie. Get those photos, right, Wolfie?
Yeah, I've got some good stuff on there, to help with the podcast.
Folks, if you can't get out to a show to meet Wolfie D, there's nothing like that, especially for the fans of PG-13 and Wolfie D. And before we go, you can always find me, your host, Jimmy Street, at James Rock Street on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
And hey, Jimmy, before we go real quick, I just want to add in there, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate, first of all, the work you've done for this podcast. You have worked your butt off. Secondly, the people that are liking the page. Beyond that, even more, is the people that are listening, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah, and remember, guys, the podcast drops a new episode every Monday at noon, and our past episodes are streaming now on demand on all major podcast formats. Thanks again.
Yeah. PG-13 Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame class of 2024. Give it up. Spaceman Jones with the beat. Here we go. The 90s was ours, and we did it with pride. 15-time tag champs, what a hell of a ride. Rock and roll couldn't beat us. So Tommy and Doug, Knox Mother's dirty white boy who called themselves thugs. T is for terrible, H is for hell. Ha! PG both been locked up in county jail. The kid was real, and we were immature punks. Buddy Wayne couldn't stand us because we didn't wear trunks. We did it our way, in and out of the ring. Bought a real rap swagger to the Memphis thing. You can hate it, you can love it, we just did our thing. Still true to the game, now we Hall of Fame. PG-13, put respect on our name. Yeah.
This has been a James Rock Street production.